he was holding hands with this chick.
Oh
Lord, let me
the
tell you.
T-shirts.
And you know that what that
your heart just goes into little tiny.
I know, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
So, and I'm trying to hold it together because
Yeah.
he's not made any declarations or promises or
By the
anything
way.
like that. Me, I've been in this relationship in my mind, but we have never actually discussed it.
Yeah.
And that distance, it just took an hour. You know, because you've seen him now, it's awkward. I'm watching him watch me. Like, it's just, and we're just, the distance is closing. It's taking forever.
And the hands are still holding.
The hands are still holding. I mean, he's not hiding anything. Yeah, them, they were on a romantic walk.
Oh la la. Jambo. This is Sophie.
Hello. This is Melissa.
Hi, this is Wanjiro. And this is Ninja Parenting.
Hey, ladies.
You guys.
We are in the last episode.
It's so sad.
Of this season.
Why is it sad?
Because what are we going to do with our lives like over the next few months? It has been such an integral part of like our weeks. Yeah, it's going to be weird not seeing
Nick.
Everybody.
My heart.
And sharing mandazis.
Yes. Yeah.
So, ladies, I guess I feel like there's something we might have missed out or something that maybe we need to share with the audience. Because I'm like, especially if you're joining us now, please, you do need to go back and listen to our previous episodes. Man, we've poured out our hearts, our lives, our stomachs, and all the things that come from it. But so I'm just curious, did we really ever talk about how we met our significant others and what got us to that decision of like, ni huyu?
Origin stories.
No.
I don't think.
I think we just started with I'm pregnant.
No. I guess it was
serious
even
things.
there. So did you ever discuss pregnancy and were you on the same page?
Yeah.
But I guess like, so this is the time we do in the beginning.
Yes.
There was
There was love.
In order of child lady.
And in order of
Seniority.
This is really for. So how did you meet Ted? How I met your mother?
Oh, yeah.
Our story is fun. Our origin story, we met in the disco.
Hey.
I know. Hey. We met at Salsa. So I had just come home. I had been away for uni for plenty years. And I just came back and I was trying to find my place in Nairobi. Nairobi had changed a lot. I think I had been gone almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I hadn't come back while I was away.
Yeah.
So it was like,
You were 10 straight
10
years.
straight
years.
No, you've not seen Nairobi. You've
I had
not
not
been
seen
back
Nairobi. I had not been back.
Wow.
I was just in school, work, school. That was my cycle. So coming back, before I left, I had gotten into salsa dancing. So I had a friend of mine who was a salsa dancer, and I was completely fascinated with this culture. It was the most gorgeous thing I'd ever seen grown-ups do, right?
Yeah.
So she took me to the salsa scene, and it was so big and vibrant in California. So when I left, I had just started into the salsa scene, and I was hooked. And then I came back, and I remember talking to my mom and just saying, "Oh yeah, I kind of like salsa dancing." And it so happened that one of her coworkers had a cousin who was in the salsa scene completely. So I was like, this is it. It's a sign. So I called this babe and I'm like, tell me about salsa. She's like, these are the days, these are the venues, come. I was inside that mix. So me, I went with the intent of just dancing and having a really good time.
Yeah.
So I get there on one of the days. I get there because salsa used to start at 11 p.m. That's when people actually show up to do this thing. So I get there, I've dressed to the nines. And the way salsa works is that there's almost an equal number of men and women because you pair up. You don't dance alone, you dance in pairs, right? So if you're going to dance, somebody's going to have to ask you to dance. And so it's very cultured. It's so sophisticated because the men come and ask you, would you like to dance? It's just the scene. So I went there just open to having a good time.
Yeah.
Then I see these guys sitting over there and I just peleka myself and introduce myself. And one of the things they say that they notice immediately is that I'm drinking beer. because
Which is not.
Yeah,
which
not-
is
It's
not
actually out of the norm here. Yeah,
it's out of the norm.
Yeah.
To,
No,
and
it's
I'm
changing.
drinking out of a bottle. I'm not even. It's not
brown
even in
bottle?
A, yes.
Not-
You must have stood out like a
I
sore
stood
thumb.
out. Yeah. But then coming from the States, that's
It's
how they
very
drink.
normal.
Yeah.
They don't drink
Yeah.
beer in glasses.
Yeah.
They have their bottles.
Yeah.
So that's how I presented. So they're looking at me and they're just like, wow. This first she's come alone.
Yeah.
And then she's just sitting by herself and she seems very comfortable.
Yeah.
And then she's ordered a beer
Yeah.
and not a cellar cask, those sweet reds.
Yeah.
So then, as the music is, and it's live music, that was the other thing about salsa. It's live music. So they have a band. It's just fantastic. So people will come and ask you. You don't even have to know anybody. That's another thing I like about it. So then I think I've danced with several guys and then he comes and asks me. So Ted comes up to me and I can tell he thinks we are the same age. He thinks I'm a campus chick.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm not going to reveal my true identity.
It's just a number.
And really, you're here to have a good time, no?
I was, yeah.
Yeah.
So we hit it off. We are laughing, and then he introduces me to his friends. So I sit with them, and we laugh the whole night. And he's like, "Okay, that was fun. We'll see you at the next," which was in a few days. There was going to be more salsa. So I keep coming back. I keep coming back, and it's always the same people. So we start forming this friendship. And we start talking and hanging out and talking and hanging out. And so what we used to do is we'd dance salsa until 3 a.m. That's when the live music would stop. And then we'd go to Soho's.
And
I
keep
didn't have
going.
a
That is
job.
youth.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
hearing the plan is setting at 11.
Yeah.
Can't even fathom right now.
Right
Can't
now.
fathom.
Nope.
I know. So I didn't have anything that I was doing. Like I didn't have a job. I didn't have any real responsibilities. I was living at home with my mother. My mother was funding my lifestyle. Right? So me, I was in it to win it.
Yeah.
So we'd come from salsa at 3 a.m. We go to the next place, which was usually Soho's. We dance until 6.
Yeah.
And then we're only on sodas. Because you're really dancing. There's nothing else to do,
Yeah.
right? These guys are in campus, they don't have money for pints. And me, I don't even have that much money. So I'm just like,
That one beer
that
earlier,
one beer
and then
is
now so
enough,
days the rest of
and
the
then
day.
the budget blown. The budget is blown.
Land.
So that's how we just became really tight. So and then I would drop him at campus with all his two friends. I was the one with the car.
You are
Like,
the
"This
right.
babe, she is just the best." So I drop them and then we stay chatting.
Yeah.
We chat until the sun comes up. I know it was so
Wait, and then he
romantic.
goes to class after that.
I don't know what he does.
That's his
Yeah, so
business.
at that
Okay.
point, you have fun today. Be good. Take your courses seriously. Me, I'm out. So we did that for several months, and then he did that thing of, I wanted to ask you if you can be my girlfriend. I was like, look at this boy child. And I had not revealed how old I was. So when I told him,
He had not guessed. I mean,
By
you're
this time,
dropping
he's
him
not
in
asked the
campus,
questions
but what
for,
about
like,
the
you
rest of your
finished
life?
campus, you're back, you've been away for 10 years.
he's not asking, and he's not asking.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe he really thought we are. Even if I was older,
Yeah.
it was not by much. I think in his mind, he was there is where he was operating. So when I actually reveal, like, also, I am
By the way.
elderly. And I expected him to be like, oh, okay.
Dial it
I
back
recant.
and-
Dial it back. No, he's like, okay, so do you want to be my girlfriend?
Oh, so you told him at that point when he asked?
Yes.
Okay.
And he still asked it again.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like,
wow.
so
Yeah, details.
do you want to be my
Like
girlfriend or not?
AJ,
Yes.
nothing but a number.
I know. So me, I was like, hey, he's not
Confidence,
afeared.
Yeah.
I know.
So we started dating almost immediately. I became his official girlfriend, and it was so cute. He introduced me as, this is my girlfriend. I was like, you guy. Are you aware that I'm someone's girlfriend?
Yeah.
It was really cute. So, but then in talking to him about relationship, so he was ramping it up from girlfriend. He was like, it's the next level. Now we started talking about, okay, so what does this mean? Where do you want to go with this? Where do you see yourself? Do you want a family? He was just like bullet points. And I was like, I thought we were just dancing salsa until we find our serious partners.
Yeah. Just marking time here together.
This is just a filler for now. So we're having fun. Everyone is enjoying themselves. But he was just like, no, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. This is why I'm doing this. I was so impressed by how aware he was. That was a lot of awareness that really surprised me, because that was
Even older people don't have that level of awareness. Your peers.
I wasn't
would not
there.
have had that level of
Even her herself.
Even me myself, I
Yeah.
was not there.
Yeah.
So that really took me by surprise. And I think it was what switched me into like, okay, fine. If we're doing this, then we do it. Let's plan for marriage. And he was like, yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only reason I'm dating. He's like, I'm dating I'm not here to test the waters and I'm not interested in any of that. So if that's what you want, then we do it. If not, then let me know now. So, and I was like, hey, you can't let go of a guy like this.
Yes, yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah.
A guy who is this serious and focused and knows what he wants, they're a dime a dozen. So hang on tightly. And so we took it from there. And like I said in previous episodes, he knew he wants children. He knew the number. He almost knew the order. He had that in his ambition and goals and dreams. And I was nowhere near that. So it's kind of like I was listening. I was like, and then about this, what do we do? And about this.
It's so interesting. The leadership role just begins to stand out from the word go. And especially unexpected.
It was totally unexpected because I wasn't also looking for it. I had decided that I wasn't going to get married because it hadn't happened at the time that I thought it should have. So I was that person of by this age, by this age, by this age. None of that happened. None of it.
So you had let go of it. You're just like, yeah, this is not going to happen.
See, my mother is single. She seems to be doing all right. So that was my mindset.
Yeah.
I had written it off. It wasn't an idea that I had. But his direct approach with it started changing my mind about it. And you know, the question of whether he was the one or not the one, I had never really held on to the idea of there being a one. Like there's one person in the entire universe made just for you. So, and because of other past failed relationships. So when you've had a relationship that has failed and you've thought that was the one, I think that disabused me of that notion. It's like, there's no the one. There's the one you can make a life with. So there's the one who is available, there's the one who's showing up, then that is the one.
Yeah.
And you go along for as long as you both want to have a relationship. So it was really easy from that point to be like, okay, not that it made the relationship easy, because we still had issues. You know, like anything,
all
right?
relationships have issues.
Right, because now once he told me that he was interested in getting married and having a family, I was like, so when do we start? You know, me, I'm a planner.
Task oriented.
I'm very task oriented. So it's like, so you're telling me you want to get married, but you don't know when. I'm like, this is not working.
Yeah.
So that was a source of lots of conflict, because he never seemed ready, even though he had presented.
Yeah, because then why
Then why
did we even
if you
have
didn't have
this
if you're not
discussion?
going to follow this through till the end, did you have a date also?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
And me being the woman that I am, rings, venues, wedding dresses, fertility programs, I was already in that pipeline. So it took a lot of there was a lot of friction in, like, are we serious? Are we just saying it? Are we just going to be that couple that is in it for the long haul? But once we finally got married, then that was a whole other ball game. But it was just having that conversation with him and saying, because I told him clearly, me, I don't have an idea of the one. I don't. So we'll work out or we won't. And either way, I'm okay. He was like, what? How can you
so unromantic.
I am complete, and yet I'm the romantic, right?
Yeah.
I'm a hopeless romantic. But I think I use that to just cover myself. To protect myself from, potential breakups. So I was like, there's no the one in my mind. It's the one who is here and now. And make it work or don't. Yeah.
So if I have a question. So what was the gap between the we're salsa dancing to the dun, 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 dun,
Even to the we're dating and then to the
So the salsa dancing to dating was, I think it was like 6 months. Do you want to be my girlfriend proposal? It happened so fast. The other proposal, oh Jesus, cobweb. I think I almost proposed. I was like, let me just ask you then.
Seeing as
you're not asking.
Yeah.
So we dated for I would say we dated for 4 years, got married on the 5th year of our friendship. Yeah.
Wait, but this we're in it for marriage happened at the I'm asking you to be my girlfriend stage.
Yes.
Okay.
It happened
So it was
very
4
early.
to 5 years. The 5th year
is
so
the
was
one.
5 years in waiting.
Yeah.
Hey.
I know.
And because the interesting thing is when it switches for the babe.
Yeah.
Like when
It's
when
set
you
now.
the light
switch
comes
it
on,
on.
like, don't even try to suggest.
Yeah.
You're not ready to see it through.
Yes.
Exactly.
And within a space, because usually I feel like it's, for me, I feel like it's like the 1 year. Like we have a year to then do this if you're
Yes.
telling me this.
Yeah.
Within 12 months, this deal must be sealed.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So, and I think that's just how women operate, right? Exactly what you're saying. So when he planted the idea in my head, I ran with it. I was at the altar. I had met the
Just
pastor.
waiting for him now to
I was
arrive.
just like, where's the groom?
Yeah. It's true.
Like he's with
Yeah.
you, but you can start with me. I'll fill him in.
He's coming. I'm sure he consents.
Yeah, I'm sure he agrees to this. So that took some time, and part of the reason for that was he was finishing up with school.
Yeah,
You remember
okay,
me?
yeah.
I was
Just waiting. You're just living your best
already
life.
on the other side.
I was a senior in the streets of.
Waiting for your pension.
Yes, I was waiting for my pension.
Gosh, you guys, Sophie's not that old. Let's just also put it out there. Like purporting to be this old lady that she's not. But
That's So that was the main challenge because he needed to be finished with school and then start professional career, and I had to agree that was the hold up. But for me, I was just like, that is not reasonable.
Yeah.
Come on, one of us will pay the bills. One of us, come on, we'll not be homeless. So, but yeah, that's our origin story, and we continue to dance.
You do? You still salsa?
Some nights in the house.
Oh, which is
That's
so
fun.
cute.
Yeah.
I know it's you guys. You should see us dancing. We are world
Okay,
champions.
so the next time we meet up, there should
be
should
some
see you
salsa,
guys,
yeah,
must
even
cue
some
you guys to
lessons.
dance.
You should see us.
Yeah.
Oh.
You leave your husbands and marry mine. You leave. Akina Mato will be like, you can't.
It's okay. I understand. I understand why you had to leave.
I would see that for sure. Yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
Mrs. Okoth. How did you move from Miss to Mrs.?
Yes.
Yeah, indeed. Good question. Us guys met in campus. And we didn't start dating immediately, obviously. You didn't just jump right into it. But what I remember was that our first meeting, I remember getting freaked out. It was, I joined campus and he had already been there for 3 years. And then when I was going, it was like, everyone looked at me and thought, oh, this little girl, she's going to Juja Boys. And I was going to JQuat. And the majority of the population was men. So there was always this thing. And then me, I have lived in Nairobi all of my life.
Yes.
So for the first time now, I was going to somewhere where I was not living in my own house. And it was Juja. So everybody in my church group, everybody at home was just like, is she going to make it? Is she going to be okay? Is she going to survive? I know that. I know that now, especially. But like the shift in life was crazy. My dad panicked at some point. I remember him saying, okay, so what we need to do is we need to buy her a car. This was a week before I joined Campo.
Yes.
Yeah, he woke up one night. He was like, nope, we're buying her a car. She's going to be driving to school every day.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I don't even remember how he talked him out of it. So anyway, when I was going, the youth pastor at my church where I was, also happened to be the youth pastor at Brayo's church like 3 years prior or something like that. So they knew each other. So he calls Brayo and tells him, look out for this chick when she comes. Sawa. So just she's joining next week. Nini, just take care of her. Just keep an eye out. So fast forward to first night of campus.
Keep an eye out to imagine back the babe.
He really kept an eye out. So first night of Campo, I go for a Christian fellowship, and I was living outside of campus because I was a para student. So I go for a Christian Union fellowship, and as we're leaving, the guys decide to escort us because it's me and 3 of my girlfriends.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, let's take them home because they live outside of school.
Yeah.
So it's just now we're traveling as a group of 4 chicks and then just a bunch of dudes in a crowd, and we're all chatting and laughing and whatever. But I had not seen him or met him up at this point. So we're passing through like this shaded, dark part of the walk, and suddenly there's a figure next to me. And you know, Brayo is big and tall.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, what the hell? Where did this come from? And he's like, are you Beth?
Like,
It depends. And at this point, I've not seen him the whole night. So there's even an element of, speak Lord, are you listening? Like, who is this? Is he a demon? Is he like real? He's like, why? And he explains now the history and the background and everything.
Yeah.
And from that time on, it became a friendship. So I don't know if you know this about Brayo, but he's a sensitive spirit and he's just so forward. Like if he loves you, he's in it 100%. So for the first few months, that attention freaked me out because he was walking me everywhere. He was talking to me all the time, but he's not declared his intentions.
Okay.
Like it's not gone romantic. Now me, I'm like, this is my first year living out of my house. I was confused thoroughly. I was like, is this love? Are we on our way? Is this what it means to date even?
Yeah.
And then so this friendship continues and he's written me poetry. He's made me t-shirts. But again, this has not gotten romantic. Whenever we go on holiday, we're emailing each other back and forth like we were just constantly talking.
Yeah.
Then one night, and I've held this story over his head so many times. One night, I'm walking back into Campo for practice with the band that we were playing with, and I'm with my friend. And then I see him walking towards me, but he was holding hands with this chick.
Oh
Lord, let me tell you.
T-shirts.
And you know that
Your heart just goes into little tiny
I know,
pieces.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
So, and I'm trying to hold it together because
Yeah.
he's not made any declarations or promises or
By the
anything
way.
like that. Me, I've been in this relationship in my mind, but we have never actually discussed it.
Yeah.
And that distance, it just took an hour. You know, because you've seen him, now it's awkward. I'm watching him watch me. Like, it's just, and the distance is closing. It's taking forever.
And the hands are still holding.
The hands are still holding. I mean, he's not hiding anything. Yeah, they were on a romantic walk.
Oh, la, la.
It was a romantic walk. So later on, I find out that's his girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, so they just started dating. So he'd been hitting on her for a while and then they just started officially dating.
Many
Again, later on, when I start to unpack this relationship that I was in my mind, the signs were there. Okay. Yeah. He didn't hide it from me. It was just me. I had constructed.
What you wanted to see.
Yes. But man, was I heartbroken.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
Lord.
After now, they had pitied us like this.
Did he say hi to you?
Yeah, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Yeah. Okay, so. And then he introduced her, and then we keep going.
Jesus.
And your poems are just in the fireplace.
Open up and
Yes.
swallow me.
Tears, I tell you. Hey, so after that,
Yes.
I got serious, I guess. So now, since me and I was no longer in a relationship now, it was almost like a breakup, right? So there were a few other guys in between there.
Yes.
It never really got that serious, but then there were a few other people in between there. But our friendship persisted. Like we played in a band together. We were studying the same thing. So he was just a few years ahead of me. So we're meeting in the workshops, we're meeting all over the place. So we're still in each other's lives, like a lot, even outside of school. So he graduates, he leaves campus, and then I'm still in Campo, and the friendship just keeps growing deeper and deeper. Now, do you guys remember Club 20? That one for Airtel. You buy Airtime for 20 bob,
You can chat
24
the whole day.
hours.
Yes.
So we used to call each other, and then I put the phone in my pocket,
Yes.
and then we just go about our lives like the whole day. So he can hear my
I did
classes.
that too.
I can hear like when he's at
And you're not
Jobo and
dating.
whatever.
That's
Sorry.
extreme.
And you're not dating.
Now it started to get more romantic. So he broke up with his girlfriend after just around the time when he was graduating and leaving Campo, and so even me at that time. Now I was not serious with somebody, but there was somebody like in the wings. So no, we are not dating. It's not official, but it's getting more romantic.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, the bloodlines. It's Campo. Yeah. So
streets.
we're still talking. We're spending the whole day talking. And I break up with the guy that I was with and run to Brian. Oh my gosh, he broke my heart. It was so hard.
Brayo is like,
Yes.
Come here. Yeah. Let me comfort you. So, but I was very determined. The thing with him is that I kind of had this sense that with him it was going to be serious. Not like, it wasn't going to be casual. It wasn't going to be like anyone else. So one thing I was sure of, I was like, this is not going to be my rebound guy. Because if I rebound with him, I'll mess everything up kabisa. Like I really appreciated his friendship. So then it took me a very long time for us to make that flip and he would ask me, he asked me several times, but I kept telling him, no, I don't want you to be my, yeah. He kept asking and I was just like, no, I don't want you to be the rebound. So just give me more time. So eventually, I think I got over the other relationship, got to a place where I was feeling better about myself. And now I was like, okay, now I can focus on you. And it won't be because I'm coming off of this other relationship. And so now we started dating officially. I finally said yes. Between that time and getting married, it didn't take very long. I think maybe an hour two.
Not take long.
It did not take long, yes. Because I think it must have been maybe a year. And then he proposed, and then it took a year for us to get married. Yeah. That's about how long it was. Yes.
Meanwhile, it just felt like this babe, I have known her.
You knew
all our
this
lives.
whole story.
But it was like between you meet up for a sleepover this day, and then she's like,
I'm engaged.
I'm seeing this guy, but I'm not feeling like it's working out. The next time, I broke up with him. He's a cool guy, but I don't know. I think we're just friends. The next time, I think I'm getting married. I'm like, sorry? Yani, the transition was so, it felt like it was so boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
Because we were living our lives in Campo. So it was apart from everywhere else. It almost felt like a honeymoon because it's just this other world that's apart from everything else.
From real life.
Yeah, from real life, kind of. Just a lovely little bubble. Yeah.
Campus love is the best.
It is.
I recommend it for everyone.
I don't know.
Yes, you need to test it out.
Okay, you do need to test it out.
Yes, and because you have so many options,
Yeah.
it's a perfect place. And like you're saying, there's no pressure from real life.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
so
true.
it allows you to be those sentimentals and go on
Mushy
dates and
walking
get poems.
in the shamba. We used to walk amongst the maize.
I imagine.
It was very
out here, you're trying to be romantic in a professional.
There's money issues,
Money,
there's whatever.
There's your mother's
complex.
diabetes.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Life, as we know it.
It's so hard to juggle. Melissa, tell us about your love life.
Hey, so are you asking about my love life, or are you asking
How
about how I met?
How you met the
those
love
are two
of your
different
life.
things.
In this context.
So it's it started off as, let me just start with the backstory. Even before he came into the picture, was I'd been through the ghetto. Ghetto. Like, you've ever been taken through the ringer until you sit down, you're like, let me just first of all let me unpack this and begin to see what's happening, because I realized at some point that there was a trend with who I was dating. And I was like, and the heartbreaks were enormous, of colossal and it was Hiroshima, Nagasaki type of situations. Like my dating life was a movie.
It was.
It was
so much
entertainment
drama
for the crew. So and I do remember coming out of it and just taking up backseat and just saying, and it's very much like most of the Chileans, you say you're hoping that by this age you'll be this age. I should have. So by that time I think like when I got to about 27, I was like, hold up, pump the brakes. I'm not getting into any more relationships.
How many had you been in by then?
I don't even want to count them. They let them stay in the past. So, and I get into a point where I pump the brakes and I say, okay, you know what, actually, do I really need to be in relationships? I really also need to reevaluate and see, and as much as I've gone through heartbreak and they seemed terrible, but I needed to also take a backseat and say, what am I contributing into this? In terms of like, what am I also attracting? There
am I the problem?
Yeah, and really, that's a hard conversation to have with yourself.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting back and saying, let's unpack so and so. What were the issues we had? So and so. What were the issues we had? So and so. And I remember seeing a trend in this, and I was like, but also, am I enabling this trend? Because is there something that I have not dealt with myself that keeps attracting this thing? Because if this thing keeps hurting so much and I don't want it, I really need to work on myself to stop attracting this trend of behaviors. And I do remember we used to have yearly with my girls, we'd have a thing where we'd write, like we'd have a day when we'd sit down and everyone would do, like, we had a notebook that used to run every year. So we'd open it on the same day the next year.
Yeah. Wow.
And just see how much we've progressed or whatever. So we had gotten to the point where we're now praying about like we want to get married. What were we looking for in our spouses? And I remember it was blurry the first time. And then I was like, the clarity became a lot more, because I remembered the things to me, I think now that stood out. I was like, number one, I'm not going to be in a relationship with somebody who has not told me in a relationship. Assumptions are not going to be me. Like, if you have not explicitly told me I want you to be my girlfriend, or I want you to.
So many questions.
I'm like, I am not going to. Like, if we have conversations and we are texting and we're hanging out and you're taking me on dates,
all well and good.
unless you've declared we are just friends.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
I shall not invest anything until the day you tell me otherwise.
Yes.
Because I was like, I was done assuming.
Yeah.
Because it got me into a lot of trouble,
Yes.
right? Number 2, I was like, I'm not dating anybody who I cannot trust with generally. In fact, I said number 2 was, it needs to be somebody who is an ethical person. Actually, I think there was another term I used, I'll find it. But it was one of those, you need to be a person who has such a high standard of ethics
And integrity.
that it runs through everything. Because if you're an ethical person, I can trust you with money. I can trust you with my heart. I can trust you with my children. I can trust you with my friends. I can trust you and I was so specific. I was like, I really want this guy to be the kind of person who, if you give Nani even 5 bob, you'll come and find your 5 bob intact. You know, that level of integrity. Because I was like, then it'll transcend into so many things.
Yeah.
And then the third was, what was the third thing? It was that it needed to be somebody who was open to just working out things. Because nothing is perfect. So a person who's open-minded.
Yeah.
And I think those 3 things. And then I was like, spiritual. Of course, you won't get everything.
Yeah.
Because I think there was like, the high priest of our home. All those things. You're like, I pray that he will be the guy that leads us into the... And then I was like, and the person who professes. He needs to be able to shout from the mountaintops, this is my babe, this one. Not me forcing him, him wanting to do it, to make it clear into the world that this is my chile. Huyu ndo wangu, you know. Like, let him claim me. Not that I'm sitting there wondering, Sasa, do the friends
is
even
my
know?
status?
You know, what's my status? I was like, I'm not going to get into any gray areas.
Yeah.
And so I said I halted all relationships and anything of that matter. I did go on dates. I did meet people. But again, nobody said anything, and so they were good friends. You know? And so I remember one time we were meeting up and I was in such a happy space. Like, I was in such a good, and I was like, I'm not gonna be scared about, I don't want to date somebody who I'm sitting down looking at my phone for, guy, he's not replied to my message, or I don't want to, or I have to hold back what I want to say because I look like I'm too needy. Or I was like, no, it has to be somebody I trust with my heart, and I trust him with mine. So I remember just sitting, and I stayed like that for about 3 years. I was like, Mimi, I'm not dating for nonsense. The next person will be
My
all
husband.
the way. And so if they're not in that space, it's all right. It's okay. Imagine I'm also okay. So I remember one time when I think I was rolling around 30. It was 29. No, it was actually 2 years maybe. Was it? Yeah. I remember meeting up with my friend who was in a very strange relationship at the time. It ended. But I remember meeting up with her, and we were like, hey, she had come from a trip, and I was just like, did you guys have the conversation? Because so we met up in the club.
Yes.
But it was like an early evening thing. So we went to, in fact, it was Explorer.
Yes.
Explorer. And we sat at a coconut, and I've come to catch up with my girl. But I was in such a good space. I was not even looking. You know that you'd go somewhere and you're like, hey, that guy is cute. I was not in that
here
space.
for your girl.
I was so happy. So we meet up with my girl, and we're having a conversation, and then there are these random people. You know how a club can jar, and then now you have to sort of, a club can be full, and you have to share a space, like a long couch with people. And so I remember this guy's coming in, and they're like, can we sit? And we're like, yeah. So it was two dudes and a chick. So they came and sat, and we continued the night. And as the night progressed, their friends kept increasing, and they kept moving closer and closer and closer. So
and for you guys, you were just the two of you
just
still.
the two of us still to deep in. So
Problem
and then
solving.
what's the no. Let's go back to that point, you know. And so I guess for him, and I remember this is something we were laughing about the other day. So the other of the two guys, one of them came to hit on us, but you know there you can smell BS from a mile away. You're just like, this one looks like he'll drag you through Madare. So he came and tried to hit on us, and we were just like, please, nah, bruh, we're good. So my assumption was Mato was the other guy, and so he was sitting with this other chick. And what we assumed was that was his chick.
So this other guy was like a +1.
He was a +1.
Yeah.
And so nobody's paying attention. He didn't seem like a threat. And so conversations kept happening. His order was messed up, and it was hilarious. That was the point. The first point, we started laughing. So we laughed about it. And then as the night progressed, the friends increased. They kept moving closer. So at some point, this guy is eyeing me. At some point, he decides to tell the chick, you come this way.
other side.
I come
Yeah,
on
so that-
this side. So as the people are increasing, he's inching closer towards me. So at some point in the night, he's like, hey, sorry, are we too much in your space? I'm like, no. You're good.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh, but you guys you look so, do you mind if I just say hello to you? Like, no. We're not seeing him as a threat at this point.
Yeah.
We're thinking
See, he's dating. He's got,
And we talk, and he's like, and we get into, he's like, he's recently relocated, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm looking for this and this. What do you do? In fact, so we're talking about insurance. I was so passionate about it because at the time I was an avid biker, motorcyclist. And so insurance was a big thing for me because I'm like, you must get the right insurance. So we got into a conversation about, I don't know if the guy was listening. Honestly, maybe he just found a hook or something because he asked for my number so that he
discuss insurance.
I can give him my insurance.
Very well
guy's
played.
number. Let me tell you.
Well played.
Even 1 year later, he had never called the guy. He never even asked me about that insurance story. He still used to call me about whatever. But what was interesting about our whatever was, to me, I didn't see him that way, right, from the beginning. Because remember, I was not looking.
Yeah.
And so when he started calling me and texting me, I had not really, I'm just thinking, I'll just give this guy the number when he asked.
Polite.
5 conversations later, no number asked. I'm like, okay, what's this guy's story?